If you are interested in learning ways to have a successful worm farm, then here it is. So enjoy the video! Well, hello. When it comes to worm farming, you have to think of worms just like you. And what I'm saying is, first of all, you have to think, what type of house are you going to keep your worms in? Because if you don't have a house, you have no place to live. I mean, not, you know what I mean? Not trying to say like you don't have a place to live, but anyway. But what you can do, there's options. You can build your own worm farm out of Rubbermaid totes or 55-gallon drums, or you can purchase your worm farms. There's Worm Bin 360s, there's leapfrogs, there's the worm bucket, there's other options to look into. So you have to decide what type of storage container you're going to keep your worms in. And worms need air, so without air, we can't survive, so you got to think about that. So if you build your own worm farm, you're going to have to put some holes on the top of the lid so worms can breathe. Now you're going to have to think about what type of environment you're going to have for them, such as their living conditions. And what you need to do, you need to decide if you're going to use peat moss, cocoa coir, shredded up newspaper, or shredded up cardboard. And all you need to do is to get that wet into the consistency of a wrung out sponge. Keep it moist, because worms don't like it too wet or too dry. It's kind of like my skin. If it gets dry, I get ashy, and I got to put lotion on it to keep my skin to a nice, rich, smooth texture so my skin's not dry and itchy. So worms have to have like a good environment, such as a wrung out sponge condition, and that's a great balance of your worm bedding. And now, and also you need to add some grounded up eggshells for grit, or you can add sand. You don't have to add a lot, but worms need eggshells or sand because they have a gizzard to help with their digestive system. Another thing you need to do is to figure out where you're going to get your food scraps. And I want you to start off feeding your worms very little. I don't want you to overfeed your worms. I don't want you to have all this mold and all things that make your mind just go crazy because you're overwhelmed with the stress. So keep it simple. Underfeed your worms, never overfeed your worms. And also, to get your little worm bin established, get you a little bit of dirt from outside. And that way you can, get that wet a little bit. And that gets all the microbes and get that ecosystem running properly for your worms and everything to help break down the food. Another thing you want to do is to get yourself some worms. A lot of people are putting earthworms in a worm bin, but I highly recommend and encourage you to get either red wigglers, European night crawlers, blue worms, or African night crawlers. But for a beginner, just go with the mixed worms. I like the mixed worm bin the best because it has a mixture of red wigglers, maybe some blue worms, and some European night crawlers. You can get about half a pound of those and you'll be just fine. And the thing I like also is that when they poop out their, we call it the castings, the black gold, it's different castings. So you have a variety of castings from different species of worms. And also the worms will not mate with different species. So you don't have to think about Europeans mating with blue worms and having mutated worms. So that won't happen. Another thing that is really good to know is that worms, if you are going on vacation for a couple of weeks, all you have to do is get yourself some newspaper, a few sheets, get it wet, and just place it on top, and worms can eat that while you're gone away on your vacation. Excuse me, I scratched my nose. I apologize, but it got itchy. Things happen, and I'm going to keep this in the video because I'm human. So, anyway, on that note, like I said, just keep it simple. Worms are easy to take care of. I love raising worms. It's a great hobby. I like seeing how They devour my food scraps and make rich organic compost and fertilizer for garden and plants. Here are a few other videos where I helped other people out on starting a worm farm. And here are a few other basic things to get you started. I would ask you, if you like what you hear from me, to subscribe right now. Hit that button, or that red button right down there. Hit that red button and subscribe. Hit the bell. Give this video a like. Always ask questions, leave comments, because I'd love to hear your answers, questions, and I'll always reply back. So I want to say thank you so much for watching us, and you have a great day. Bye.